Today, we're going to uncover one of the most deceptive and devastating online fraud schemes known as pig butchering. This scheme doesn't just empty bank accounts, it destroys lives all over the world. Stay with us to learn how these scammers operate, hear real stories from victims, and most importantly, how to protect yourself and your loved ones.
The New Mexico Securities Division calls them pig butchering scams.
The scammers have a terrible term for what Wendy went through. They call it pig butchering.
So, what exactly is pig butchering? The name comes from the method scammers use. They fatten up the victim with attention and trust before they slaughter, that is, trick them into investing large amounts of money. This usually happens through social media, messengers, or dating apps, where scammers make contact with potential victims. Imagine this: a respected bank CEO, a man trusted with millions, but one day he decides to invest in what seems like a promising cryptocurrency deal. How does it end? With a $47 million loss and the collapse of the bank, and 24 years in prison for the victim himself, the very same CEO who chased fast and easy money and lost both his fortune and his freedom.
But it just refers to raising little piglets, fattening them up, and butchering them. And they're fattening up their victim with illusions of grandeur, of wealth, of love, before bleeding them dry.
And now you're going to hear the story of a real victim of pig butchering.
First message, it came as a very innocent message. I said, wrong number. He came back, you look Chinese. Are you Chinese? It's quite flattering for a middle-aged woman to meet a young man who finds you attractive.
Now let's break down the scheme these scammers use. Step 1. Initial contact. It starts with a random message, or the scammer pretends to have the wrong number and begins a casual conversation. Step 2. Building trust. Over the course of weeks or even months, they create the illusion of a close relationship, sharing personal stories and showing care. Step 3. The investment offer. Once trust is firmly established, they offer a profitable investment opportunity, usually involving cryptocurrency. Step 4. The fake platform. The victim is given access to a fake investment website. At first, they might deposit a small amount, and right before their eyes, the amount begins to grow rapidly and convincingly. Then the victim decides to invest their entire savings. And step 5. The disappearance. But when they try to withdraw the funds or stop investing, the platform blocks withdrawals and the scammers vanish, leaving the victim with nothing. Who's really behind these schemes? Who are these scammers? Or are they victims too? Imagine this: you're chatting with someone who messages you every day, asking how you're feeling, talking about investments. Now imagine that person is sitting in a concrete room with no windows, under armed guard, and he's doing it against his will. Here's what's most shocking. Many of the people working in these scam operations are actually victims of human trafficking themselves. They are lured in with promises of good jobs, often in IT, in places like China, Taiwan, or Singapore. But in reality, they are transported to Cambodia, Laos, or Myanmar, where they are locked inside guarded buildings, often without any identification. They are handed scripts and forced to work 14 to 16 hours a day. Their KPI isn't code or sales. Their KPI is to slaughter the pig. That is, make the victim fall in love, invest, and get scammed. One escaped programmer said in an interview that they weren't even allowed to speak to each other. They had to send dozens of messages every day, strictly following pre-written scripts. If they failed to meet their quota, they were beaten. These buildings are now being called scam compounds, modern-day online labor camps. People aren't just working there, they're being held there. Sometimes for years, many tried to escape, but only a handful ever made it out. Many of these operations are run by organized crime groups. One of the most notorious figures is one Kwok Koi, better known as Broken Tooth. Despite his criminal past and US sanctions, this man continues to travel freely across Asia, even posting videos of his travels online. And now you'll hear the confession of someone who was trapped into slavery of pig butchering.
Well, I was expecting to be a customer service consultant. When I got there, the first 3 days, they couldn't tell me what I was doing. All I could see people that were stressed, they were not happy, and they would just had their eyes glued on a computer. I used to work for like 20 hours. I wanted to make an honest living, be an honest citizen, and here I am now. I'm a prisoner, forced to do things that I don't want to do.
Now, let me tell you a story with an unexpected ending. If you haven't liked this video yet, now is the perfect time to do it. This time, the victim was a man, just over 60, living alone, the perfect target. One day, he receives a message on WhatsApp from a stranger. "Sorry, wrong number." And that's how the friendship begins. Soon after, it turns into love. A couple of weeks later, she shares a secret. "I invest in crypto. Want to try?" He puts in $1,000, then $10,000, then $100,000. He's thrilled. The numbers keep going up. The site shows massive profits. He's even about to sell his house. But then, at the very last moment, his phone rings. This is the FBI. "You are the target of an international fraud scheme. Stop immediately." He's in shock, but he was saved. And this was part of the FBI's high-profile operation called Level Up. Thanks to Level Up, more than 4,300 people were rescued and nearly $285 million in losses were prevented. And now it's time to find out how you can protect yourself. To avoid becoming a victim of a pig butchering scam, follow these simple rules. Be cautious with strangers online. Don't trust people you've never met in person, especially if they offer financial opportunities. Always verify investment platforms. Make sure the platform is registered and regulated by proper authorities. Don't give in to pressure. Scammers often create a false sense of urgency. Don't rush important decisions. Consult with professionals. Before investing, talk to a licensed financial advisor. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay informed about all types of crimes and scams. Pig butchering is a complex and devastating form of fraud that exploits people's trust and emotions for financial gain. Stay alert, protect yourself and your loved ones. And remember, if something seems too good to be true, it's a scam.